Welcome to one of the most unpredictable tracks on the Formula One calendar. Welcome to Spa. It looks like the teams are removing the tyre warmers in the garages, so we should see some action shortly. The Spa circuit really is one of the most iconic tracks on the calendar. And Eau Rouge is one of the best corners in F1 history. A sweeping left, right, left with a blind summit.
It's a downhill start with a sudden elevation change as you surge into a steep uphill section. From within the car, you cannot see the exit until you crest the hill. It's essential to stay flat out as the long Kemmel Straight continues to climb immediately afterwards.
Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode in my F1 2017 career mode here today around Belgium. Now, unfortunately, in the previous videos you may have seen that I did say that I would get 2 videos out a week over the next 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I just have not had time, so it's going to be this one this week, and then the Italian one next week, and then we're back to normal when I get back from my holiday. But yeah, and if any of you don't know, I am going away for 2 weeks, and I'm also away when this goes out. But anyway, without further ado, as I finish my fuel saving program, let's get into qualifying.
It's qualifying time at Spa, one of the mightiest tracks on the Formula One calendar. Long straights, up and downhill, Eau Rouge as well. This track isn't for the faint-hearted. And as we count down to that green light, I have to say, Anthony Davidson, that this rain is not showing any signs whatsoever of abating. I imagine we'll be looking at some last-minute setup changes to better adapt these cars to the conditions. What do you think?
So here we are then, starting our qualifying lap in a very weird session, because it may be wet, but it wasn't wet enough for intermediates, which is quite weird. But we're starting our flying lap now, as we are now coming across the line. We are up on our previous lap, and where does this put us on the grid? Well, let's find out.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top 3. Hamilton, Raikkonen and Felipe Massa. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway.
So starting in 19th place then, would have been last if Vettel would have been bothered to actually go out and set a lap time, which I don't know why he didn't, but 11 seconds off the pace. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to go out and do a lap time in the conditions that the AI did, which is a bit unfortunate. But let's see what we can do from 19th place in the race. So without further ado, let's get to the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Who doesn't love the Belgian Grand Prix? It's the race, of course, that gave maiden pole positions to the Jordan and Force India teams, with Rubens Barrichello and Giancarlo Fisichella respectively. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Massa, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and Perez, Ocon, Bottas, Stroll and Nico Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Grosjean, Jolyon Palmer and Sainz, Van Dorn, Ericsson, Pascal Wehrlein and a Toro Rosso. Vettel and Fernando Alonso starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, don't worry about making places into one, it's far too tight. Concentrate on a clean exit so you get good momentum down the Kemmel Straight.
Thanks for the tips, Jeff. It really makes me wonder why I'm the racing driver and he's not, but upping the fuel now, and then, well, actually I don't know why I did that. I should have really put it to minus. There we go. As I realised my mistake, because I'm putting it to minus fuel, because it's full wet conditions in case you didn't notice, but it is drying out towards the end of the race, so hopefully we'll be on dry tyres by the end of the race, I hope. But as we're now setting off for the formation lap now, I decided to go through these quickly because I simply just don't have enough time. So there won't be any more replay cameras. Halfway through the formation lap, we'll just go straight to the start of the race, where the lights are coming on, and there we are now, right behind their line. Alonso got a penalty, which is weird, I don't know why, but here's the lights now. We've got 4 lights, it's 5 lights. The lights out when we go here for the Belgian Grand Prix. It's soaking wet conditions. Wehrlein has gone off to an absolutely shocking start, but I wouldn't really expect anything else from a Sauber, as we now dive it down the inside of half of the field. going up into the points, I think. Is that into the points? Yeah, 10th place, or 11th now, because Hulkenberg has now got us around the outside, but we managed to get better traction off that corner, off the first corner, and we're now up into 10th place from 18th place. So good start to the Grand Prix, as we're now cutting on to lap 2, the beginning of lap 2. We're now going to dive it down the inside of Bottas as he gets held up by Stroll, I think that is, yeah, Stroll. And we get a much better exit than the Mercedes, surprisingly. I don't know how I did that. But cutting on now to going up a Rouge now. I'm going to plan a move on Stroll. Going up a Rouge, maybe. No, he's got better straight line speed, obviously, in the Williams there. As we go up a Rouge, cut the corner slightly at the top of a Rouge, but now we're in the slipstream of Stroll, and this should be simple enough as we, as obviously no DRS aid, so as we're now coming down the inside of Stroll, and there's yellow flags behind us for some reason. I don't know why. Someone's obviously had an issue. Hulkenberg is at the Grand Prix, that's why. As Ocon and Perez are going side by side, which is brave because we all know what happened in real life. The Belgian Grand Prix, lol. But anyway, cutting to the end of the virtual safety car now. Hopefully we can have a cheeky look down the inside of Perez, maybe going into this chicane down here. I don't really know the names of some of these corners around Belgium, so sorry about that. As we have a dive down the inside of Perez, but we run a bit wide, and Perez gets the place back. Does he? Maybe, I don't know, but we're still side by side going through these sets of corners now. He's down the inside, I'm around the outside. We get out onto the curb, which is obviously worse on this game, and he decides to brake check on the apex, and now we've got a better exit from that corner, and now we're going side by side through I can't remember the name of this corner, sorry about that, but he manages to get that place back there, which is good job from him. But now doing the same job as that we did on Stroll, just going up a Rouge now and trying to gain a place on Sergio Perez. You can see Stroll has dropped back quite a bit, and I don't know what it is with this car, but it's very good in the wet. It's another animal when it's in the wet. But we go down the inside of Sergio Perez there. He's still on our inside, which is fair play to him. But we managed to get the position there, and we're now up into 7th place. Moving on now to lap 5, I think this is. We're now coming in for intermediate tyres. As you can see, the rain has eased off a bit, but obviously you can't tell because of all the rain droplets on the camera, which is not helpful at all. But I can assure you, it is intermediate condition time. So hopefully we can jump Ocon here in the pit stop maybe, because obviously there'll be a lot of traffic coming in behind us, and we get out, and yes, we have jumped Ocon. I mean, great job there by the pit crew and myself there for the actions of doing the driving away bit. I don't know what I'm going to say here, but this is all a bit of a shambles. Look, I'm recording this at 10 o'clock at night. I kind of need to be silent because there's people sleeping in my house. But we're going down the inside now of Alonso, who's still on the wet tyres, into P1. And easy position there because it's in the Cloud Honda. And easy as you like there. But cutting on to lap 7 now, the beginning of lap 7. Coming out the pit lane now on the right, you can see his front left tyre, is Daniel Ricciardo. We've managed to jump Ricciardo in the pit stops. Whether he had to stay out on the wet for another lap because Verstappen pitted, I don't know. But unfortunately, the Red Bull power, or the Red Bull car, is just a lot better than the Toro Rosso. So obviously he's going to get past us with ease, as I just decided to make my own corner there. And he's now back past us into 5th place. So that undercut was short-lived, but now we are now right behind him once again in the slipstream, going down the Kemmel straight now. Can we possibly dive it down the inside? We've gone to his inside, and we're now going to dive it down the inside as Van Dorn is out of the Grand Prix. No surprise there. Shame it's at its home Grand Prix. We're leaving plenty of space, and I think he spun out in the background. I don't know why, because I left him plenty of space. He must have just understeered into me. But cutting on to lap 9 now, we now have Valtteri Bottas behind us, who's obviously in a Mercedes, which is the fastest car on the grid. So I wasn't really going to fight him that much. I was just running my own race at this point, really. So as he goes past now, and cutting on to the end of lap 10 now, we are pitting in for dry tyres. But you can see there, Vettel has already pitted in for dry tyres. He pitted a lap earlier than me, like everyone else did, which was a bit of a noob error for me. Well, let's be fair, I did pass the pit lane entrance, and then Jeff was like, "Oh, we've got a strategy change here for you," and it was dry tyres, and I was already the first corner, so it was a bit late. And obviously with the length of Spa, it's quite a lengthy trip back to the pit lane when you're on the wrong tyres. So coming out now, just ahead of Vettel, I think, as you can see there on the mini-map. I'm still in 6th, it's quite good considering where we started, but now coming through to P1 now, Vettel down on the inside, he's just shoved us out the way, and surely he should give that back, because he just shoved us out of the way, but he didn't, and cutting on to the last lap now, because nothing else happened in this stint, coming around the bus stop chicane now to take a very, very well done 7th place, and I'm very happy with that result.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
A great win then for the Mercedes team today. And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes then are on top today. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'm going to go for Sebastian Vettel. People have suggested before that he can't race wheel to wheel, but as he showed today, it's nonsense.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
So in the final race classification, and Hamilton wins from Raikkonen and Bottas managing to get up to 3rd eventually, which is quite good from him. I finished in 7th, which is good, so that consolidates our 8th place in the driver standings. And Ricardo's not had the greatest season, let's be honest. And there's now 3 points between Raikkonen and Hamilton. Bottas and Vettel have kind of dropped off the pace a bit from this Grand Prix, which is quite surprising considering they've all been pretty much equal the past couple of races. But we're very much in a battle with Sergio Perez in the driver standings now, and I'm quite looking forward to this battle with Perez because obviously he's in a much better car than me, and Toro Rosso have consolidated 6th place in the constructors. We're only a point behind Force India though, as well as Mercedes again going above Ferrari in the constructors. So all to play for in both championships then. Hope we can beat Force India. I mean, that's my goal for Toro Rosso, is to beat Force India in this career mode, and maybe Williams if we can catch up to them. I don't know, it's going to be a lot of effort though. But here we are now applying another aero update that I decided to do. I decided to go for the front wing main plane. I know it seems a bit of a weird one considering Monza's next, but I feel like this car does need a bit more downforce, and it's kind of like all over the place sometimes at some tracks. So I decided to go for the front wing main plane, and that should be coming for the next Grand Prix in Italy. But if you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like and a comment, and I will see you all next time in Italy. Goodbye!